This is a video of Jumma game developer. Welcome to this channel. This tutorial video is the part 2 video of making a top-down car game tutorial. On the before video, you remember how we made the road and the other car, which is a collidable track. That video is important to make you understand the axes, the XY axes, the GD script, window size, project manager, and the notes. If you haven't watched it, just move to the description of this video, click on the left side of the text right side of the text right and the previous video. That video link is to the link of previous video, and in this current video we are actually going to understand signals, input control, and scene changing code. We are going to make the player, the main game, the game over menu, and the main menu scene. First guys, we need to discuss some problems before starting the project. The problems I have made on the previous project, on the first project, and before the problem we need to discuss about when closing the game. I forgot to tell you guys what to do on the before closing the game. When you directly click on the close button of the editor, it will not ask you to save and quit the game. It will just ask you to quit or cancel. If you quit the game, it will not save the progresses you have made and quit. It will just only close but not save your progresses that you were developing on the game. Click on cancel before closing. You need to save the game first before closing, or you will lose your progress. To save the game, there are two ways to save the game. To move every scene, and click on this scene and on here save scene button, or you can click Ctrl S to save. These are the two ways, and after that you can safely close the editor and you will not lose your progress. But after again when you open the editor, you will see the game you have made it in this project manager, and the game you made will be shown in this project manager. I don't know, but I guess that the games are actually serialized with their first name with the from ABC A to Z. Like this, they could be serialized. Like that, this top-down car game is also serialized and it is at the last. You can see I have made many projects before, you can see here, but the project we are going to use is the top-down car game, and I am showing the tutorial of this video, the part 2 video of it. Just whenever you open the project, you will see that this on here right now. You can remove this by clicking remove, and import it by a folder. First let's remove this, and I will show you how to import it again. By clicking there you can remove it, and by clicking import you need to click on the browse, and on the disk you have created your game. You need to switch to that disk by here. I have saved this on my Mac games on here, and by opening this you can see there is a file called project godot. Click on there and open it, and click on here, remove import and edit, and it will open the removed editor. You can see my sky is black here because there was a problem for there was a load shedding problem in our, so suddenly when the load shedding problem occurs, the game has some problems, and in 3D mode it is blank, the sky is blank. Whatever, that is not a problem. In 2D there is no problem for me, so I can show you guys easily the game's progress, how to develop the top-down car game without any problem. And the second problem is actually, oh, I remember, the parallax backgrounds. On here, oh, you need to set it on 1 and 1. You remember it was not 1, I changed it to other numbers. Check this and see if it is 1. You have selected this 1 as 1, and in the sprite node I have scaled it up on 0.55 and 0.92. the x is 0.55 and the y scale is 0.92. make sure it is exactly like that, or no problem, you can use other numbers here too. But if you exactly want number like me, so you can follow these numbers. You can resize it by clicking and dragging on here to match the viewport sides, and also on the downside do the same, or you can do it by clicking the corner side of them. I don't need to change it. I want at this run numbers. You can follow the numbers I am giving. So, the third problem is the size of the game we make is changeable. What kind of size? I am going to show you that. This actually, where is that? Actually, this side. When this size is changeable, the game must be ugly. The details on this sides would be visible. For large games, you of course need to fix this to not make the size of the window changeable. How to do that? So I don't remember where is that, but I guess on here. Yes, on here. Uncheck this resizable button and close the editor. Control S for saving the progress, and this is for running the game, and this is the size is not changeable anymore, you can see. So we have solved the problem successfully. So these were the three things what we were needed to solve at the part 1, but I forgot, so we have solved it on part 2. Now let's start making the game. What we need to do is now make a scene of player, a car which will move around, which will move with some, with the arrow keys on the keyboard. For that, let's make the area to denote the car would collide. The car would detect collision when it collides with the enemy car. So we can't use this sprite node for this, because the sprite node can detect collision. We can use the sprite node to detect collision to use making the player. We need to use the area to denote to make the player to detect collisions. Select the area 2D. First you need to cross all other things, then if this window doesn't appear, so click on this plus icon, so it will show you as empty scene, and click on other nodes. Now click on area 2D. Now it will create an area 2D. You know what this error is? I told you about that. I think I didn't told you about this. Oh, okay, I told you it is about the collision problem. The area 2D doesn't know on what area it would collide with, so we need to tell it on what area it will collide with the node name collision shape. It would be needed to be a child of area 2D. The collision shape would be needed to be a child of area 2D. It will be a child of area 2D when you will see the area 2 sign is in coming down of area 2D and then going right and attached to collision shape. Then you can be sure that it is a child of the collision shape is child of area 2D. And after that, the collision shape also has a problem, and that it also don't know what shape on what shape it would collide. And after that, you can see on here the collision by clicking on these shapes properties, new rectangle shape 2D, this collision area appears. Now area 2D has a collision area around him, but it doesn't know what picture to show. Also, we need to show a picture on here. You remember on the before video I told you some sprites to download. We used 2 sprites on the part 1 video, and on this part 2 video we will use this OD PNG, the OD video. You can just drag and drop on here like this, or there is another way to set the picture inside of this area 2D. That way is by add child, clicking on add child node, click on the sprite, and you would remember how to search the sprite node inside of the editor, the window of creating nodes. So I will not show you that on here because I have previously shown you that, and I just show you to tell you to click to the sprite node and add it on here. And now you can drag and drop the OD PNG on this texture property, or you can first I need to empty it to show you that. Then you can click on the texture property, drop this to expand, and click on load, and on sprites folder there is the OD PNG. Then open it. It will open the picture, and we need to size the collision shape to match with the OD PNG, the OD sprite. A little down side the collision shape, and a little left side. Now it fitted the sprite node, not perfectly. You can see these 3 tires are perfectly fitted, but this tire haven't fitted perfectly. This is because the sprite node is a little much rotated from the beginning, not on here on these properties, but the PNG itself is rotated. This file is rotated, not this node. And if you want to solve it, you can solve it by click a little rotating, oh sorry, not minus, with +1. okay, it will not able, we will yet not able to solve this. Let's move it a little this side. It is almost fitted perfectly, yet not perfectly, but you can stick with it for now, or you can follow me, stick with this to perfectly match with it with some things, and or you can follow me right now what I'm doing to continue the making the game progress, developing progress. And don't forget to save the scene if load setting problem appears, so your save progress will be lost. In our country, load setting is a common problem, so I need to save every scene I make, every game I make, I need to save a scene after finishing making that scene. First, you can to save, you would remember, you can click on the save scene, or by clicking Ctrl and S you can save this scene, and it's so took me to the scenes folder. If it haven't, it shows you some pictures like this. Click on the scenes and save on here, not as area 2D. It is showing the name of this parent node, the root node, but we want to save it as the player node, and we will later do more. Just wait for it. We can move the player with the arrow keys and click on save for now, and you can change its name to player. Now we need to attach a sprite to this card, sorry, not sprite, a script. You remember what is script? I told you in the part 1, so I am not explaining the script anymore on here. You would also saw what an script can do. I am not explaining these things because I have explained them also on the part 1. In script, this on here, to this folder will be opened if you click on open and move to that folder before, and make sure it is GD script. It inherits an area 2D, extends a area 2D class, and finally click on create. It will, now we have made the script inside of this folder, and you can see what it does for us. We don't need for now that things. I need to click create, Ctrl S to save. Now I need to explain the input settings. Click on project, go on the project settings and click on input method on here, upside of these options, and you can see there are some ugly things that we can't actually delete these things. It will not ugly after some seconds because I am trying to explain you guys about these things. These are actually the input controls. When you press a key, its parent, you can see, not parent but like a parent thing of this UI left, you can see the left button. What is this left? This is actually the left arrow key. And what is this right? This is the right arrow key. Like that, these are the up arrow key and this is the down arrow key. When you will press the left arrow key on here, it will call the UI left. Like that, when you press this UI, when you press the right arrow key, it will call the UI right. It will call because these are the something says like child of this UI left. These buttons are child of this UI left, UI right. These are the same. So how to use them? How we can use them? We can use them by coding in GDScript them. We will tell Godot by coding that if UI left is called, so the car would move left side. If the UI right is called, so the car would move right side. When UI left is called, when the left arrow key is pressed, UI left is called. Like that, when the right arrow key is pressed, UI right is called, and the car, when we call, we will tell Godot that when UI right is called, to move on the right side, move the car right side, it will move it to right side. The same to UI left, UI down. And let's just start making the game. You need to write function process. The things you will write under this function process will be actually called after every 16 times per second. It will call the things you will write on here will be applied 16 times per second, every second, a second. Now if we want to tell Godot that if the left arrow key is pressed, so to move left, we need to tell it Godot by writing if input. First we need to initialize the input like this, and is action pressed means the action is, when the action is pressed, the action is holding, it will be told like this when you write like this on here. And UI left, just write left, it will show the UI left. So I'm explaining more, wait for that. When this is happened, so the thing you will write in downside of this thing will apply if this is true. Like this, you write down the things you will write in this downside will be applied only when this is true and this function process is called. The function process is called 60 times every second per second. Wait, I'm explaining more. Let's talk about the transform positions. On here, as I told you before, you remember on the part 1, if you increase this number, the car will move downside, the Y number of this position, like it is not too much, like 10, you'd saw it move downside. And if I decrease this Y number, it will move upside. And if I increase more, like minus 15, it will move to upside too much. The more you will decrease it, the more it will move up. The more you will increase it, the more this area 2D will move down. You would know I'm just changing the number of area 2D, but why this collision set and this sprite node is also moving? Because you would remember this is depending, this is positions are and rotations are depending on its parent players positions and rotations. As when something is a child of its parent, the parents changes will be affected on the its child's rotations positions. So like this, as they are this collision shape and the sprite are the child of this player, so the area these parents positions rotations are affecting this child's collision shape and sprites. Now like that, if we just move the area to the, it will move the whole collision shape and sprite nodes. Now the thing I need to explain is the X. It is like graph. First I am explaining you. If you increase this X, it will move to the right side. If you decrease this number, it will move to the left side. The more you will increase this number, it will move right side. The more you will decrease this X, the more it will move to the left side. So we want that to during the game running, it would move left, right, up, down. To tell it godot, during running godot, we need to first initialize the position, and then position X is needed to decrease by this minus equal symbol as number of, let's try 12. What will it do? When it will, the process delta will called, the function process is called, and also when the UI left is true. When the UI left is true, when the left arrow key is pressed, when this left arrow key is pressed, this left arrow key is pressed, it will call the UI left. So the UI left will apply the things right hand of its downside of here. It will, if it is a part of this downside is a part of if thing, so it will show this symbol to you. You can see this symbol on here. And first let's try with this. You can see if I press the left arrow key, it is moving left side and move to the outside of the window. And after that, we need to also move it right side too. So how to tell it? The same way as we did in this side, by writing if again with input, first initializing the input, and then when the key is holding, the player is holding the key, the right here right, then it will show the UI right. Don't forget this symbol to write on here, then press enter. It will actually take you to downside with a little right side of here. If it doesn't, it only moves you to here but doesn't moves a little right. So press the tab key to move it to the right side, or it will not work actually if you don't move it to right side. Position X would be initialized, and with this plus equals, it will be increased as this number 12. So on here it is minusing, so it means the position properties X will be decreased as 12 number, as this UI left is true. When it will be true when the left arrow key is pressed, and like that this position x will be needed to initialize first. Then we need to tell to increase this number, to tell it to godot by this plus equal symbol, and as now it will increase 12 as 12 number, and it will be applied only when the right arrow key is pressed and the UI left is true. UI left is true when the right arrow key is pressed. Now just run this scene. If you press the right arrow key like me, it will move right. If you press the left arrow key, it will move left. It is easy. And now wait. Now we need to tell godot that it would also move downside if the down arrow key is pressed. If press the up arrow key, it would move up. And I am showing you this is same as we did to x axis, the x property on here. We just need to now work with the y. We need to increase and decrease when it should move down and up with the arrow key pressing down arrow key and up arrow key. To do that, just write if input is action pressed like the before one. Is action pressed, just click up and it will show you the UI up. We need to move it up when the the UI up is true. Position y would be decreased by this minus equal symbol as 12 number. This will be decreased. The position y will be decreased during running the game when this UI up is applied, and as it will increase as this number of 12 with this minus equal symbol. Okay, let's run the game now. Let's create another code. Is action press the UI down, so it should move downside with this plus equals as number of 12. This will be increased because of this plus equal symbol as number 12 only when the down arrow key is pressed and this UI down is applied. This UI down is applied when the down arrow key is pressed. Now you can fully run around the game if you test it. Now pressing the left, right, up, down keys, you can see it is moving around. But another problem is we don't want the car to go out of this window during playing the game, or the vehicles will come to this side and the player will stay this side, and he will never be game over when he is out of this window, because he will not collide the cars, because he will not collide with the car because he will move out of this window and the cars will come inside of this window, stay coming, and he will never be collided. You know how it will happen. So to not make player go outside of this window, we need to tell it godot by the same scripting. There is you don't know about, I think if you are a beginner, that there is a code named clamp. we use the codes like methods, sorry, not a method, I think this code, you can tell them codes like this. The clamp is a code like this, input is action pressed. But for the clamp, what the clamp do, the clamp doesn't apply input progress on like this is input is action pressed. The clamp actually don't want to increase or decrease from a number to a property. Don't, I mean, sorry for my bad English pronouns and grammar. I want to saying is the thing I want to say is this, that the clamp will actually not increase or decrease from a number to a property. I can't explain it, so I will just show you how to do that. Just write first let's initialize the position, the y of the position, not double O. Remember, it will show a red error when something is wrong. If you write something wrong, it will show red marks on the line you have made wrong. And when it will be wrong, this can be wrong if you have something spaces not needed, whiches are not needed, or the thing you write this input as input, or with a wrong symbol, a wrong word, a wrong alphabet, so it will godot will not understand what you were trying to say to godot, so it will show an error to you. Like this on here, you can see this position is exactly right, no wrong alphabets on this word, but why it is showing red? Because error doesn't only show only when the words are wrong written, also when the editor thing is that the things are not completed perfectly. Like here you can see there is a dot, and the godot is expected a member. What is meaning with a member? Something of this position property like x or y. Like you can see, after this dot there is a x, after this dot there is a y. This godot is telling that is a member, and the member could be anything x or y, or anything like this inputs member, not a member, but you can tell it is also like a member of input. This is action press is a member of input. Like that, we need to create a member on here for this, and the error will be not shown anymore if you don't give this dot like this. Just first initialize the position and initialize the x without a dot, it will show an error. It will the editor will see the whole word as one word, not two words, even if you write position first and write x after. Then you need to, of course, don't forget to give that dot thing on here, as it would initialize the member after this position, the member x. Oh, I am explaining too much. Let's just show you the code. The clamp would be this position x, and after that 0 to 450. What it will do when the position x is position, how godot know the position x we are trying to say? By writing you can see this position x on here inside of this clamps bracket, and it should increase the position x to 0 when it is less than 0, as you have written this number on this second part of here. This is the first part. It will understand what number you are trying to clamp, and with the second part it will understand from which number it would not be decreased, and the third part you can see here will not be increased more than 415. This position x will not be increased more than 415. When it is increased, the editor will automatically set the increased position x to 415 again. So when let's suggest that it goes out of this position, x goes out of 450, like you can suggest 500, it will send the position x again to 415. Like that, if this is lesser than 0, then suggest like 1, it will send back the position x to 0 again. Like if this is more lesser, it will then also send it to 0 again. And is this real? Is this works? Let's just try with by running this. I'm going to show you now. If I press holding the right arrow key, it should move out of this window one time, but it will not, because the clamp is when the car is out of this window, I mean the more than 450 in this position, for more than this 415 position, it will actually again send that increased number to 415 again. And what about the left side that we clamped? That for that it is also same. If it is decreased to 0, so it would be again came back to 0 again. So you can, I'm holding this, but it is not moving left anymore, even when I'm pressing this. So what is happening, that it is actually going out of 0, I mean -1 or -2, any number, -12, but the editor is automatically sending it to 0 again, the position x to 0 again, so it is not moving left side anymore. But yet we haven't said godot that when it is on more than 0 position, it would send to 0 position again, the y thing. I mean, if we haven't tell godot that if the position properties y is lesser than 0, so it is not, so it would send again to 0. We haven't tell it to godot. And if more than 600 is on this side, guys, and if it is more than that, so it should not increase, took it like that position. The position y would send back it again to 600. So let's tell it to godot. First I'm showing you if that is 6, what is on what position the 600 is on this position. If this goes out of this position, so it will send back again to 600. Just clamp it, you will understand. Position y, clamp position y. Make sure everything is exact like me. or any kind of error can be shown. Now same like this is same like this position x, just this is the position y, and if this position y is lesser than 0, like such as lesser than 0 is like -1, it will send back again to 0. If more bigger number than 0, then also it will send, the editor will automatically send back to 0 the position y. And the position 600, you can see it, if it is more than this, the position y is more than this 600, the editor will send know by this number, seeing this third part on here, this number, and send back it to this number 600 you write it on here. The number you will write on this part 3 will be not let godot to increase the number more than this 600. I mean the part number you have written on part 3. So let's just run the game to show you guys. Now if I go up, it is not moving it up side, and move down, it is not moving. Same as this, when it was not moving, move left and right. Same to this y, up and down siding. So it was the making of this player scene. I hope it was interesting because we have made this game interactive with by making the up and down arrow keys on here, and clamped them in some numbers. The next we are going to make is the main game. The main game, which is the main game, the game on where player will run the car and collide and move to a game over scene, where the game is challenging and where the player would challenge the game on. That is the main game, and we are also going to make main menu. Just wait for those. To make the main game now, you don't need this player for now, so you can cross it. Oh, first did you save it? Don't forget to save that file. If you didn't save it, when you click to the cross button, it will ask you to save, and click on there to save your progress, and it will exit it and make you here to this come to this window. And now, also if you have saved the scene, so it will not ask you to save again. It will automatically move to this scene now to make the main game, we need to inherit some some files. It would be not to rename it to the as main game. When you save this scene, it will ask you to save as main game name the scene. You need to inherit here the player. It will take the player node on here. The game should start on here. The player should start from here. Then we need the road. We need the road to make this game. You know why we need the road. To make the road come here, click on this button and click on this road. Open it, and it will take the road scene, this scene to here. this scene came here and this scene also came here as nodes. Everything is node in godot. The building blocks are, this is the scene tree and this is the building block of everything, the game. And this road come to here as a node. You remember why this symbol is, this is because the parallax background and this player scene come here as area to denote. You remember it was also area to the we made as area to the, and on here this player came as area to denote, on here as player. The things were under as child of this player are visible, like the sprite you can see and the collision shape. And this this road has no picture, you remember. Its child sprite is also visible on here, as you have loaded this whole scene on this inside of this main game. This player is same too. Now don't forget to save your game by clicking Ctrl and S. Click on save and it's saved. Now let's run the game. You will feel very great, like it is look like very great, right? It means the car is moving and looks like the car is it looks like the car is moving on the road. Even when the road moves down, only the road moves down, that, and but the car stays on his position. But we make this as a game to only feel the player moving, to feel the player it is moving. There is no problem with those. Now you can you need the car and the road coming again from here, and more road should come again, but we can't make it again. To make more roads coming out from there, we can use something that is really we need to do. There is a easy way, but I don't remember that. Guys, sorry, I need to show you the hard way, because the easy way where that thing as a thing I don't remember the hard way. So how is the hard way? Not the hard way is not much hard, but first you need to duplicate it. I will tell if I remember this thing. If I remember this thing, so I will explain it later to you guys. So first we need a road which will only needed only when it is started. And also remember this, that this road scene is when this is more than 100 and 1200, it will be deleted with this QE free. What is this QE free? I have explained on part 1. And this road on this scene only when starts it will be needed. Another thing you need to duplicate is another script that's name we made is road as jar. Now we are making the road start game script on here. It will create on this side. So we need to open this too. this road start doesn't need it too much. We need this road to come on the upside of the window, to start from the upside of the window. I don't remember what was the thing. Oh, okay, function ready. I'm explaining what is this ready. So this ready is also a function like process. The things you will apply the things you will write downside of this ready will be applied like this function process, but the difference between this function ready and the function process is the function process runs apply these things, the things written on the downside every 60 times per second, but this ready is the things you will write downside of this ready will only apply when the object will enter this, the scene tree. This scene tree, when we'll enter the scene tree, when there are two ways to enter a thing to scene tree. The first way is like you can see it, this is already entered in the scene tree like this. By adding nodes on here, it will make the things first from the first time it are added on here. And another way is with a code named addChild. With addChild, some things are added like this. If we add something with this addChild, suggest we added this player with the addChild, it will take back this scene to this scene inside of the scene tree as the child of something. I will explain when I need to explain this addChild. For now, I'll just tell you guys that this addChild only creates objects. The object you will write inside of that addChild will be added inside of the current window. Now we want this row to every time when it's entered the scene tree, it should start in a position of as this is a parallax background, you will be a little confused with this position, but trust me, with position of 115 it will work. Sorry, minus, it would be minus. It means it will be outside of the window, and the position X, even if it is not needed, we need to add it. Position X should be started on the middle side of position X. The screen sizes little sides. It would be the position of the scale of the window size is 450. If you divide it with 2, the result will be needed to apply it on here. Trust me, it will work. I can't explain it because it is hard to explain for me. Just trust me, it will work. And the number is, if you divide the 2.23 2.5. Let's see if I into it with 2.5. There is a way we can just use to test it. 415 divided by 2. Oh, 225. Okay, this is not 235, this is 225. This will work. Now every time this, this is a script of this road, not a script of this road. Remember that this is a script of this node, and this node will start on this position whenever it's started with, as there is the ready function, it will be applied, these things will be applied right and on downside of this ready only when the object is enter the tree. And for this scene, there is a script. This we haven't attached it. We need to attach it by clicking on here. You can delete it first or directly click on road and this road start. For this is now a script of this, not this is a script of this. Now this is the script of this is the script of this, and it will, there is not the for the start, there is nothing to say to godot that this node should start on the upside. It will be stay on that side when it is entering the tree. Only when it is sorry, what I was trying to say is this start will not start from the upside of the window like this one, like this road TSN. The road start will be started on what position it was on. So now it is a little hard work. With this star symbol, it is meaning that the game is not saved. But you remember there are two ways. I am using one way, the Control S, to save the scene, and clicking cross here and here. And this road, I don't need this road. I need a road because why I don't need this road? That road where will start from this position, and the player would feel first time a little not great because of this blank picture on here. I'm showing you what is the problem. I saw you before, again I'm showing you. Okay, you can see it is blank and it comes now. First, the blank images would confuse the player. Where is everything? Where is road? The game has no road, nothing like that. And it is like a problem. I don't need to explain it to you. But if you press the start, the road start not have to start from the upside of the window, so starting with this would be better. And after that we need to create another road on this upside. I think this node would be that much bigger. This would be just 600. and it will start on this upside on here, that road, not the road start, the simple road. I don't need this road. Oh, do I? I'm confused. This road start will not start from there. Wait, guys. Road start. Let's play this. Oh, I'm confused because I thought this is the node from here, not here, because there were not right and road start like this. There is a cause of that. I can't explain on here because the video would be longer. I'm explaining too much longer today. I just need to write as road start to understand this, that this is this scene, to not get confused again. And then what we need to do is to attach another script. You can see it is showing to here the scenes folder. Inside of the scenes folder, we don't want to create a script inside of a scene folder. Scenes will be created inside of the scenes folder, not the scripts. We need to create the scripts inside of this script folder on here. Click on open and it will create that script on the script folder as the script name main game. Make sure it is GD script and no comments are needed. I told you why before. Now we are creating this new script. Control S to set. We need to make growths after every seconds, after every time a thing, a dot is moved out of window. Trust me, we need to work with the function process, and we need also some variables. We are not using the timer node. We can use the timer node, but I'm not using because the more nodes will make you confused. We need to set the invisibility of the timer and so on, many things. I'm just using a timer which is equals to 0, and you will understand. Just write like me. The timer would be minus equals 1 every second, and if the timer is lesser than 0 anytime, you will understand that it will be 0 anytime with this timer minus equals. So I'm not explaining that. Oh, I forgot that to write if on here, and if timer is lesser than 0, so it should make the timer 16 again. Oh, we need to calculate the time of the thing. Wait for a second. 6 oh, 115 would be better. This will not apply any visibility on here, any visibility on here yet, but it will do something when we use the agile. You remember that the thing you will write inside of this agile's bracket the name of the scene, it will be created inside of that window. We need to create this road tscn inside of here. If you write this road or road tscn on here, it will actually not create the road directly. It will show an error. To make it inside of this, inside of the scene, we need to use the onReady variable. I don't know why Godot uses that way to create a scene, but this is the only way to create during running a scene inside of another scene. Use my way. Road onReady bar road with preload. Res you can put by clicking on here and click on here, and by holding Ctrl and pressing A, and by holding Ctrl and pressing C, it will copy this part of this road, and by holding Ctrl and pressing V, it is posted on here. And you aren't yet allowed to make this road inside of here. If this would work by pressing by writing road on here, it would be better, but let's use the Godot's way to create a scene inside of another scene. Road ins this road on here, and after that instance. Now we are allowed to put this road ins inside of here. It is actually initializing this, and this is this, and this is initializing this scene, and this scene is this, the road scene. It will, after all, what it will create this only when we put this to add child inside of the brackets of add child, like road ins, like this. Now the error will be not shown anymore because everything is correct, and the error shows only when something is incorrect. Sometimes an error can be yet inside of this editor even when it is not showing red mark anywhere, because it can see every error. The editor will not able to see every error inside of the game you are making. So okay, not I am explaining too much time is gone. Just let's run it, and another car is coming, but you can see there is a gap on coming of those roads. There is a way, I think, to solve it. It will work with 300, I guess. It should work. Now you can see with that game with almost not any gap, it should be more lesser, like 219. Let's stick with this for now by searching for what we need. Make this number exact like me. Position X is 215. Wait, another thing we need to do to make the game is to make this position X on of this road start. Select the sprite and make this position X of the sprite as 225. Now you can see the progress is unsaved. By Control S you can save, cross, and now you can see there is not much problem on here. The road comes and it goes out. Just follow me to solve this by decreasing this number a little. Let's see, as this is 15. So what happens? Let's see. We need to experiment with these things. Oh, it comes. It is working perfectly. You can see, guys. And for me, I think this car is too much big on this road, and it goes out of this road's boundary. On here you can see it goes out. We need to solve these two things. Now to solve these two things, what we will do first, we will solve the sides of the car first. Let's guess this would be better sides if this is 0.5. I think. Oh, too much small. Let's try with 0.8. What about 0.9? Let's move to this on here. Oh, so 0.8 is great. Oh, we need to save this first, then we are going to get the proper size. Okay, it is perfect for me. 0.8, so try with that number, 0.8. And now it is not too much small on this road. Now it is going out of this road, you can see. To do that, we need to decrease and increase the clamp numbers. You would remember the clamp number. I explained to you already about those clamps. Now the clamp is, trust me, if we increase this 15 and decrease this 15, it will work. The position X, the Y is not needed. On here, oh wait, it is here, not solved too much. What about 100, guys? Let's try with this, right? Okay, a little much needed, but I think that is not too much problem. So we have successfully made the game, and you can see the speed is a little increasing and decreasing of the going down speed of the road. That is a problem because it is not a real background node, it is a parallax background node, and the parallax background nodes are actually hard to explain. I can't explain this to here. And if this node would be a parallax background, you remember I told you on part 1, I will explain about that. If we would not make this parallax background, so what will happen, every road which will come will created on this downside. So if this is created on downside, if this is, and the roads are not parallax background, so as these are the the more downside the the things which are more downside will be visible to upside. And what will happen, as these roads will not be parallax background, so the player would not be visible, because the player would go downside of these windows, the roads, because they are not parallax background and they are downside of here this symmetry. And on viewport what will happen, as downsides are not visible when an upside is there, so the player will be on move to roads downside, and the roads would be moved upside of the player. It is hard to explain, but the road are as parallax background, there is a benefit, and you have saw there is another thing which is not benefit, that it is increasing and decreasing again and again. That is not good. So I don't think that using a background node would, I think that using a background node is very good, because even it is, as this is a background node, even when the nodes are created on here, the player would not go downside, because this player is a node and it has the sprite node, and the what is called, the roads are not main node like those. They are parallax background, they are going downside of this window, and player is going upside of there. I think I'm explaining too much, that too much time has gone. Let's move to the next thing we need to do. The next thing we need to do is make other cards visible on here to come again and again. You will understand what I'm doing after you will see what I'm doing. Just follow me for now. ENE card, if track writing, there is no problem, because the tracks will come out after a few seconds when we run the game. This is the track, and we need this to come inside of this after every second, and we also need to some extra things to do with this. What were we working on here? First select on here, it will show the notepad of this scene on here. Click on the notepad, hold Ctrl and press A, and again hold Ctrl and press C. It will copy this part, and on here this symbol is needed, and hold Ctrl and press B, and it will post the copied part from here to here. Now we need to create randomly the track, timer of track. Let's just write timer track is equals to 0. Let's start with some fresh numbers. We will start when the time is let's suggest 13, and this timer track would also decrease as number 1, and here on here, if timer track is lesser than the number 0, so it will create this scene inside of this game. And to tell it godot, the way to tell is to godot this is with dot, no, not dot, timer track, too much long word, timer track ins instance. I'm giving ins as instance, but you can give any name on here, but don't forget to write exactly like what you write it on here on the add child, what we will write later. Right after a few seconds, we will write after that few seconds, and what we need is, oh sorry, don't need this timer, not preload, track, okay, I remember, track instance, yes, instance, nothing is needed on here right now. So the timer would refresh again when it is lesser than 0 as number, let's give another random number. I don't know what number to give to, it is your what you want as 15, the I give 45. You can give any number on here, but the more bigger number you will give, the more time it will take to create another track after one track. And after that, by pressing enter, it will move downside a little with a little right side on here, this cursor. Add child, yes, add child track ins on here, and it will create that thing on here. But there is a problem, it is creating on this side on here, not this scene I was talking about. This scene, this will create the track on here, and you can see it is staying creating on here. And where is that background node? Track ins. Wait for a second, I'm trying to think about this. Oh, understood. There where the problem were there. We need to make this timer track to refresh again as 45. Now it will work, but the problem is it will create the track on this side right here. Why the game is slowing down, and we need to fix it by going to the track scene. Where is the track scene? Oh, ENE car. I named it car, but it is a track. Whatever the name doesn't matter. Let's move to the function ready. When you remember what I told you, the ready function ready, the things you will write on the downside of this function ready will apply only when the thing is created, the object is created. I mean it enters the scene, the scene tree. For a normal word, you can say when it is created. So when it is created, the track is created, so its position x would be lesser than 0. Let's suggest 15. It will create minus 15. So what will happen? It will be created on, not this. This is the position y, and position y when it is minus 15, and it would be here. Yet it is, you can see it shows it is inside of this viewport. Yet we need to move outside of this viewport, not 15. This now let's try with 100. If we make it 100, so yes, it moves out a little inside of this viewport, but it is not a problem. If you are an expert game developer, you will understand that it will not be a problem on here, even if it is little that side of viewport. And the position x would be randomly taken inside a number, that is rand range inside of 100, but outside of 100, but inside of 315. Wait, I'm explaining it first. To make this thing work inside of the game, you need to randomize the editor with this randomized code. Don't forget to put this brackets. And what will it do? It will actually take the position x property, take a random position x inside of this part 2, given is 315, and but outside of this, I mean more than 100, as this is part 1. The things will I was trying to say, it will randomly take a number which is more bigger than the part 1. This part 1 on here I have given 100, so it will take a randomly position a random number more bigger than 100, and with this part 2, the godot will do a thing. What will it do? It will take a random number which is lesser than 315, and inside of these two numbers, it will take a random number inside of these two numbers with this random range for this position x. So let's run the ENE car. It will randomly take a position every time. You will run the game on here. First it came here, and now it here. Now it can be anywhere it can come from. Now let's start with root tscn. Oh sorry, it is not. We need the main game to show you guys. Now every time a track is created, it will come from a random number. You can see the track should move more fast for me. We need to increase another number. It should increase number as, let's suggest 16. For me it is perfect number to go down. Okay, not much problems on here. I don't understand why the track is also slowing down. Now we have finally created the main game, but yet some works are needed to finish. We will do later. Wait for that. The things we need to do more are actually when this car collides with the the track, it should move to a scene called game over. You can design the game over scene first or connect the signal first. Let's connect the signal first, but I'm just showing you nothing happens when it's collide with cars. Here you can see there is nothing happening. We will do something with this. to make it when it is collided. Oh, let's not making the signal first. Let's make the game over scene first. Design it. When the game player will collide the the track, it should move to this scene, and this scene's name will be game over, and we need another text which will be needed to visible on here. Write and game over with red color, right level, and it will show a note on here, and in this note we need to write game over. The thing we will write here will be visible in as a level on this game, this scene, and we need a more bigger text on here to increase its size. Don't use the scale. I never saw it works. The scale, you need the rect scale of this rect. Expand this rect. First you need to scroll down to find it. Then on here, on its scale properties, the x will be better if 3 and the y will be better if 3, and it is on here with an exclamatory symbol like this. Now let's change its color as red. In psychology, if something happens bad, so if someone shows a red mark, the guy will watch it as negative thing. Okay, so when the car collides, the game will show this game over level. It will move to this scene on here, and as it is red, the player will see this thing as a negative thing as he collides with the truck, and it's so we require something negative, acquire something negative. Sorry, my bad English with my bad English grammar and whatever. We need to make another thing, that is a button. We will add 2 buttons. First, let's start with 1 button. What this button will do, when something is clicked on here, will be applied the things, you will write downside of the button. Wait, I am showing you more. First, let's create the button as play a game with an exclamatory mark, and its scale should be 2, and then it would be better on the middle of here. And if in psychology, if something is blue, so a guy will see that blue thing as a positive thing. So if we make it blue, player will see it as a positive thing and want to apply this thing, and here is written play again, and as applying this thing is the thing to play the game again by clicking on this button. Oh, we need to save it first. Let's save as scenes on here, like this. Now let's attach a script to this game over. We need this script to connect the signal with it. You will understand the signal. Wait for this before I explain it. This script, we need this script on this inside of this script folder. Create. Now these things are not needed. Just click again to click Ctrl S to save it. Then these buttons, node, under node, these are the things which are called signals. These signals are worked only when it is attached to an script, and there is an node which is attached with an script. When we will connect to there, connect the button to there, and don't need this pass button on here. When the button is pressed, the things you will apply on, you will write on here will be applied because of this function on button pressed. So what we need to do is, first we need to initialize the tree. The tree would be transformed, this scene will be transformed to transform to this main game scene again when the play again button is pressed. And when the play again button is pressed, I want to mean this, that this scene will change to main game, and the player will play the main game again. With change scene, it will change the scene. You would know that by seeing its name, change scene. It is showing what our options are on here. These are the options to create scenes. We need main game scene on here, so it will enter to this scene again. So Control S to save it, save the script. And now I lost my focus. Wait for a second. You cross this, you cross that one which I closed. And now on here, now we can work with the signal, and we want when the player is collided with the track, it should move to that game over scene which we just created. With this, it will detect collision when area entered. When this player is entered with the track, the things you will write on this side will be applied that time. Okay, you need to write here. First you need to initialize the tree, then change scene, this. Okay, just write game over. Oh, it is not coming. Oh, here is the game over. And you can see on here these things a little upside. And now Control S to save. Now when you collide with the track, you can see on here it will move to the game over scene. It was easy, right? So now the thing we will do is we will make a main menu scene from where the player should start the game. Then we will use this button. I will explain this button to you. Now to make the main scene, we don't need this main game scene for now to develop. Cross it, and on here make a 2D scene, and in this scene first select inspector. The player will enter on this scene, and he will show here the top down car game. Every time the player will open this game, he would see this scene. This name is the main menu scene. Just write main menu, and when the player enters this scene, he would saw something written top down car game, like top down car game. with an exclamatory mark, and on the rect again select the scale to 3 and 3. The X and Y both are 3, and it will be upside. The play and quiet button will be on the downside. We will attach buttons, but there are no scripts you can see. So let's create a script first to attach buttons. The script's name will be main menu, and it will not be inside of scenes. The script will be inside of script folder, and on here it is created. Now we don't need the function data on here. Let's save the main menu scene for now on this folder. Okay, great. Now we need a button. Click add child again, add button. This button will be say play with exclamatory mark. Then on rect, this would be more big to make it more visible to the player, and this would be downside. Okay, and what we need to do is attach this script. When the button is pressed, when this button will be pressed, it will apply the things you will write inside of here. So what it would do, it would first initialize the T, get to change scene to, it would move to the main game. Okay, it would move to the main game, and here is the full code. It's alright. I don't think there is a problem, just a little upset. You can give more spaces as you want, it will work, no problem. But I always give one gap after every function or class name. Okay, so when the player will click on this play button, he will move to this game. And another thing is, player need a button to quiet the game, not from this button, but there would be a button on where he would click and quiet the game. To do that, just again create another button. Its name button 2. The name doesn't matter. Its name will be exit, and with that icon to make it negative like this. And not here. The fact is on here. Its sides 2 and 2 on here. So anything need? Oh yes, many things needed. First, let's change the color of the play as blue. Let's make this the kind of blue. Yes, like this. And now connect this. When this button is pressed, it would be applied the things we will write on here. What it will do, first initialize the G and tell it to quiet. Oh wait, this is GET, get G. Quiet, QUIT. With this, it will get quieted. The game will be quieted. Like this, wait. Like this. Now it is working. Finally, we can now attach this. I am explaining this button. Wait, first select the main menu, remember that this main menu is selected. So whenever whatever you scene you are on, oh wait, first what this button does, the scene you are connected on will be shown on here. The scene you are selected will be shown in this button like this. But what this button does, this button plays any scene you are selected on, even if the other scene, if that is not the main game, this scene will be shown every time as we selected that scene. Even if you are in this game or scene, you know it, if you press this, it will play this button, but if you press this, it will play this scene. You can see I am selected in here, I click that, and again it is not showing the game over scene. And even if I am on this scene, it is yet showing the main menu scene. Oh, this is the main, not main menu, sorry, it is the main game scene. It is not will be shown, it will be shown every time when you click on whatever, when the player plays the game, the main menu scene will be played. Okay, that is not a problem. But now another thing is game over scene. On here we need to add a extra button to switch, let player switch to the main menu scene. By pressing this button, player will move to get the change scene to main menu. So yet we haven't did anything right like it would. So change its size to 2, and no matter what its color, the color of this button would not matter, like this. Oh, a little downside would be better. Okay, so finally we have finished making the game. Let's play again. Like this, the player is starting to play the game on like this. It collides. When click on main menu, it will switch to the scene again and play again. With play again, it plays the game again. Main menu, and clicking the exit, the game will be quieted. So guys, that was the final game. If I missed something, I'll of course make a part 3 video to fill these missed things, and you'll find it in the description of this video. If not missing anything, my next video will be about how to export this project to Windows to make it playable to any Windows users. Also, you will able to make it playable for Mac and Linux. If you are interested to make this game playable for any PC user, watch that video. I'll put its link in the description. I upload videos about Godot tutorial. Want to watch more tutorials of Godot? So subscribe me for that. I'll upload more Godot tutorials. Also sometimes I'll upload Game Maker Studio, Blender, Adobe Illustrator, etc. tutorials, but I'll upload Godot tutorials too much than those others. I try to upload beginner friendly tutorials, so if you are a beginner in Godot, subscribing me would be better for you. We will make the game playable for any Windows user. For now, this video is all that to develop the main game. Next video progress is to export the game. Bye.